Good morning, students. Today we are going to start a new chapter, that is the age of industrialization in history. We'll start with the first part of this chapter. In this part, first we will start with what is industrialization. Industrialization means a time when industries or factory system developed. But this duration when industries developed was not at all a simple era. It was a long duration when the society grew, population grew, and this growth forced people to come up with various ways and measures to increase production. Production which was done not in factories but in small handmade workshops was not able to compete with the growing demand of the people. So let's start all this from the beginning. In 1900, this picture was published on the cover page of a music book by a publisher, E.T. Paul. When we describe this picture, we will see on the center a goddess-like figure, which is the angel of progress, bearing a flag of the new century. This goddess of progress is standing on a wheel which denotes the changing time, and the wing leads to a century which will take to the future of new century with progress of new machines, railways, camera, printing press, and factories. When this picture was published by E.T. Paul, there was no description of machines, but it was an intimation that the future of new era will bring these developments, and this was the dawn of the new century that meant. The second picture that has been seen, it was around 100 years later, another picture of the two magicians, again glorified machines and technology. This picture appeared on the pages of Trade magazine. This picture was divided into two parts. One was the earlier time, which was denoted by Orient, when Aladdin was there with his magic lamp. When Aladdin used to rub his magic lamp, a genie would come out who can do magic and bring things like, if he would have to be ordered to build a big palace or anything, a big building or whatever, he would build it instantly. In the second part was the picture of a modern mechanic with his modern tools and equipments. Here in this picture, it denotes the modern world where a mechanic is denoted as a magician when with his tools and skills he can build new bridges, ships, towers and high-rising buildings. These images offer us a detailed account of the modern world which is associated with rapid technological changes, innovations, machines, factories, railways, steamships, etc. So, when we sum up the age of industrialization, we say industrialization means factories or factories which are growing. So, we say factories is equal to industries. Growth of factories will be equivalent to industrialization. When we talk about factory production, exactly we are talking of industrial production. When we are talking of factory workers, we are talking of industrial workers. So we start industrialization. We say we are starting with setting up of factory system or the factories. Now we will see there must be something when factories were set, but there must be something also when factories were not there. So let's see what was there when factories were not there. Before the industrialization age, there was a system called domestic system of production. Now here, when we talk of industrialization, I said we are talking about factory system. So when we talk of domestic system, we will talk of something without factories, without machines. In the domestic system of production, people used to work with hands or use simple tools and very small or simple machines. They used workforce of their own family and did not employ people from outside. Whereas in a factory system of production, several people were working with skilled and unskilled knowledge. They had come from various parts of the area and had to work on several sophisticated machines and do the production work. The products which were produced in a factory were of standard quality and were produced in large quantity to satisfy local and outstation need. So here we see with the change from domestic system to factory system, what we are talking about, that era or that age when we change away from one system, that is when the work was done from hands to work was done from machines, and this era was the age of industrialization. But this change from domestic system to factory system was not very instant. As population grew, people in England were very rich and so were able to satisfy their daily needs. But now they wanted more production with increased population. Several people started inventing small machines to improve production. This phase of change or transition period, when the production was increasing but the factory system has not encountered, this duration was called proto-industrialization. So proto-industrialization exactly is the transition period between the domestic system and the factory system. Now when we move towards production, we will see various pictures moving towards development. In these figures, you will notice that how changes occurred in these areas. We will discuss industrialization of cotton industry only in this chapter, and in the first figure we see each member of the family involved in the production of yarn. You can see that in figure 3. In figure 3 we are saying that there is one wheel, and one wheel is moving only one spindle, whereas in the figure 11, that is the second picture, was described of a spinning jenny. Spinning jenny was a further invented machine where one small machine driving a number of spindles. See, so many spindles are being driven by one wheel, and this is the higher way of production. From domestic system where all members in the family they were there, they had changed from one wheel with one spindle to many spindles by moving one single wheel. In the third picture, that is figure 7, we are discussing about a spinning factory of 1830. In this factory you see where a giant wheel is moved by a steam power, and it can set in motion hundreds of spindles to manufacture thread. Can you see? Both the sides the threads are being produced or made, and there is a single wheel on each side which is able to move so many spindles which are there. So you see that the development has moved on, and how we have developed towards moving to a factory, which is again shown in figure 4. Can you see the figure? It's showing a Lancashire factory cotton mill painted by this painting is done by C.E. Turner, and it is illustrated in the London News in 1925. This is showing that how a cotton mill is illuminated, and can you see the number of stories which were built? Now we have seen that how development has occurred from a single wheel, one spindle, to a huge factory in Lancashire. So we are seeing things change in this process, and it is something which occurred in a very, very slow and systematic way. So let's see how things changed and how things came up to that stage when factory system of development had started. In the 17th and 18th century England, we have seen in the towns what happened. In England during the 17th and 18th century, trading was controlled in towns and cities by trade guilds. These trade guilds were powerful union or association of people who used to train traders and control trade in the town areas. They had complete control over the prices, production, competition in their own areas. They were even given monopolistic rights by the king or the royal courts, so they did not allow new merchants to enter the market. So when new merchants came because of increased population and increased number of work, when new merchants tried to enter the market, they pushed them towards the countryside or the rural areas to start production and trade. Now in the rural areas what happened, or the countryside what happened? The poor people had small land holdings. Why did they had small land holdings? Because of the law of inheritance. Now here it's important to understand what is law of inheritance. Law of inheritance is when the father's property goes to son. Suppose a father has a land, and he has 4 sons, then his land will be divided again into 4 parts to 4 sons. Again, if each son has 2 sons or 3 sons, his part of land will also be divided into 2 or 3 parts, as many sons he will have. So because of the law of inheritance, land was going very less and less. Land holding was becoming less, and because of the open fields were disappearing and the commons were enclosed, as what happened now earlier, we had learnt also in class 9 that at that time the lands were divided into various manner, that is various forces were there, where reserved, village and all those happened. In India also we had learnt in same manner. In England also there were several changes. The open fields were disappearing, commons were enclosed, and why all these things were done? Because the people wanted more area to be cultivated, and when more area was needed to be cultivated, demand was food grain was becoming more and more, and to increase that demand more area was needed. So what happened? Poor people were having small land where they had to work, and the rich people were having huge land where the farm laborers were working, but they had no rights over the production, and all these things were happening. So all the poor people, they were not able to survive. So the poor people were not able to survive with their small earning and small land holding. So when the merchants came in the countryside to produce and start their trading work, and they offered jobs to the peasants for production, for making them work in the production units, they agreed immediately. So what happened to the poor peasants? Now they can earn more by working for the merchants, and they can also stay in their rural areas or in their own areas and continue working on their fields also. Now in the stages of proto-industrialization, we will see here step by step how proto-industrialization worked. Here we see when merchant went towards the countryside, they started production, but that was not in the way the production were done in several other places, because domestic system was going on and factory system has not come up yet. So in the proto-industrialization stage, a merchant had to work in a different manner. A merchant clothier in England did the process of production in several stages, which were not done under a single roof, but they had to travel at different places to make the various work done. Suppose he purchased cotton or wool from a wool stapler and carried it to the spinner. He had to carry the products from one stage to another, and at every stage there were several people who were working. When he carried it to the spinner, the yarn and thread was spun and produced and was taken in the subsequent stages of production to the weavers, then to the fullers, and then to the dyers. The finishing work of the production was done in England, and when goods were ready to go to the market, and then they were sent to export merchants and they were sold in the international markets. So, in this whole process, we find that a merchant clothier had to take and carry production process, proto-industrialization process at several places. In the proto-industrialization system, thus, part of a network of commercial exchanges was done. It was controlled by merchants, and the goods were produced by a vast number of producers working within their family farms and not in factories under a roof. At each stage of production, that is, whether it is the wool stapler, whether it is the spinner, weaver, fuller or dyer or any other stage, 20 to 25 workers were employed by each merchant, which meant that each clothier was controlling around hundreds of workers in the whole stage. So, we find this proto-industrialization system or stages very complicated. There were some defects which were there in this system. The defects occurred because of proto-industrialization were that there was no careful supervision of the work, because the production has to be carried from one place to another. So supervision was very, very difficult. And the various people who were working in domestic domains, there was no watch over their quality also, which were produced. And then the people who were working, the laborers, also could not be regulated at all, because they were at several different places, and the merchant was only busy in carrying the production work from one place to another, from one stage to another stage, and then sending their production. So children, here we come to an end of part 1 of this chapter. We have done up till the system of proto-industrialization. Thank you.